Millions of people in Texas still without any heat or hot water this morning. That is, of course, because of the situation. It's about to get even worse. The storm, a new one on the way. The state still has not figured out how to get the power grid back up and running to its full capacity. One person trying to help out is our next guest. Brian Joy is an ordained minister and founder and president at G-Faith. He's urging all pastors to open up their houses of worship to those without power. Brian, thanks so much for coming on today. How are you doing? Do you have power right now?
Good morning, and thanks for having us. Yeah, we do have power. We're in a neighborhood of several thousand homes, and many have lost power and water, so neighbors are kind of huddled together. But right now, we do have power in this location, so thank you for asking.
Okay, good. Because some are not as lucky at this time, and they are relying on their neighbors to help them out. You say that you're encouraging people to open up their doors as well. What do you mean by that?
Well, yeah, and we've seen that. This is Military City, USA in San Antonio, so people are so generous. I mean, we've seen neighbors opening up their homes, giving away bottles of water even when they have a limited supply, helping each other. My call here today is a little bit different. My call here is today is to the pastors and churches around Texas. You know, we have 27,800 plus churches in Texas, and while not all of those have power and water, many of those church buildings today are empty. And so with 3.3 million people in the state without power and or water, our call as a ministry, we don't have a building, but our call as a ministry to pastors with buildings is to think outside the box, open your doors, and let folks in overnight. We've seen some warming centers pop up, 300 in the state, but that's 0.5% of the churches have offered up their buildings as warming centers. So and that was our reason to be here today.
And what's been the response to your call? Have you heard from some pastors who are taking up that challenge?
Yeah, overwhelming positive response. Interestingly, I spoke to Joel Osteen's church in Houston yesterday. They've opened up their doors. So kudos to Lakewood Church in Houston. They're doing overnights. They expanded from warming centers to overnights. They've got food trucks. Now, while not every church can afford to do that, we have so many mega churches here in Texas. Some of the biggest in the top 10 are here in every city. And so my plea is to open up and follow that lead.
Yeah, and have you heard from people who've been there and benefited from their services? I know this is all sort of playing out in real time, but again, that need is so great right now.
No, we haven't. We've seen reports here locally of warming centers, but the warming centers here in San Antonio, by and large, are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so we believe as Christians and people of faith to open that up, it's a good start, but to open a building up and then close it at 6 p.m. Doesn't follow the Great Commission and the commandment of Christ to love your neighbor as yourself. You wouldn't bump your neighbor out into the snow at 6 p.m. So we're asking our churches that are open for warming centers and our civic centers as well to stay open overnight as full shelters, and that's our plea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that they're listening, and I hope they take that message to heart. Brian Joy joining us live on the program. Brian, thanks so much. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. God bless.
You too.